Hi, and welcome back to the channel on the college process. Once again, I'm Ed from Principia Prep, and today we're going to be going over stop ruining your admissions chances, the fine balance of annoying and adding value to your admissions applications. But before we begin, if you are new to the channel and are looking for additional college content, please hit the subscription button down below. It will notify you when new videos do come out. As well as if you do enjoy today's video, please leave us a like, it does help the channel. In addition to that, if you have any comments or questions throughout the video, just leave them down below. I do answer all the questions you guys leave down below in the comment section. Every Friday going forward, we have a new format where we will be answering all your questions in video format and then putting it on YouTube on Friday, every Friday, answering the week's questions. As well as I want to remind all the senior parents out there, we do have once again the James Russo Memorial Scholarship we're running for this year's senior class. If you want to be eligible for the scholarship, very simple. The James Russo Memorial Scholarship, down below in the description is the link to the video to explain to you guys how to apply for it. As well as in the description down below, we also have the organization's Venmo and also buy us a coffee links as well if you want to help out the channel to allow us to keep making these videos for you guys. And all that being said, let's jump right into today's video. Stop ruining your admissions chances, the fine balance of annoying and adding value to your admissions application. Now, with all senior families anxiously waiting for that big envelope to come in the mail, or for those sitting around waiting for that email to come in, anticipating that acceptance, obviously you guys can enjoy your holidays. We also have the other side of the coin, which is of course being rejected or deferred, which once again basically means you're forced to start the entire application process through either early decision 2, early action 2, regular or rolling, which means more applications, more essays, more interviews, and so on and so forth. And many of you are probably thinking now is really the right time to make that final push to go forward, to show how interested your student is in that school, or for students to show how great they are to the admissions officer. But before you go ahead and start making that world famous pie, or calling that admissions officer, or emailing them for the 100th time, what I need you guys to do is stop. Put down the Newsweek ranking list, get off the Facebook conspiracy admissions page, and stop wondering why this neighbor student already getting into college, and let's have a frank discussion here. Because many of the things that you're thinking about doing right now are very likely not going to work, and they've never worked in the past. Because what you're about to do, or maybe thinking about doing, is not actually going to help your college. It's actually going to make it very likely they're going to get denied from that university or college. Now, I know many of you are thinking, well, if I do something nice, like if I bake them a cake, or if I send them another email letting them know how much I love the college and everything else, or if I sign up for all the Zoom meetings they have, it's going to definitely show them I'm the most interested student, I'm the most capable candidate to go after that college. But that's actually not what you're doing. In 24 years of doing this, being in the world of college admissions, financial aid, and helping out families in high schools and guidance offices and everything else I do, and working at the colleges as well, I've realized that every admissions officer you're dealing with is basically a human being. Now, what that means is human beings have emotions and feelings and so on and so forth. So if you inundate somebody, especially in this time frame, you're not helping your cause. You're actually making it a lot worse and a lot easier for them to say no to you, to deny the student. And let me go over a couple of basics here. Basically 4 different things you guys need to understand and know about right now in the time frame we find ourselves in right before the admissions applications are coming back with the acceptances or the denials. Now, the first thing, if you haven't already established the relationship with the admissions officer, and by the way, for competitive colleges or competitive colleges for your students specifically, their reach schools or target schools, if you haven't already met the admissions officer for your region or your school or your state, then just let it go. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to start a relationship right now with the admissions officer, good, bad, or indifferent. They've been inundated. They've been looking at applications, essays, transcripts, doing interviews, dealing with the board of directors, dealing with the financial aid office, dealing with their boss, so on and so forth. Right now, there's no way you can establish a relationship with admissions unless you're a junior, sophomore, or freshman in high school. Then yes, you can start the relationship, but I would wait until at least February or March to start that. But if you're a senior student now, looking to get that extra oomph on your application by making that relationship happening with the admissions officer, it's not going to happen. It's way too late in the process of admissions. I would just let that go at this point in time. Second thing to understand when you're right now in the process we're in right now as far as admissions is concerned, admissions is not fair. It's never been fair. It's never going to be fair. It's something you have to accept. Admissions is like life. It's just not fair. So the reality is there will be families that have preferential treatment over you. It's just the way it works, good, bad, or indifferent in the world of admissions. It's the way it works in all of life, unfortunately. Where the athletes that the school wants will get more preferential treatment than your student will. It's just the reality. Where families of influence, the families who bought the library, the families who have made huge donations, they're going to have preferential treatment over you. Celebrities, congressmen, senators, presidents, all of them, good, bad, or indifferent, will have preferential treatment over you. Celebrities of all kinds. It's just the way it works. So you cannot look at it from the perspective of how did that person get in with their GPA. It's just something that happened. It has no effect on your application. And when it comes to families who've made donations in the past, good, bad, or indifferent, donations used to help a little bit. Unless you're making donations that end in the word millions, then your donations unfortunately do not have almost any effect in the world of admissions. So bringing that up to an admissions officer or trying to talk to an admissions director and letting them know for 20 years you've made $1,000 donations every year, it's not going to help. Just being as honest as possible with these videos here so I can make sure you guys don't waste your time doing things that's not going to help your cause. Now, of course, if you want to donate to your university because you want to help them out, it's one thing. But if you're looking to donate because you're looking at it as an avenue to help your student get into college, once again, unless those donations add up to the last word being millions, then it's not going to matter whatsoever. Third basic thing to think about right now that you do not want to be doing, and you have to think about in your back of your mind before you do anything right now to enhance your chances of what you think is enhancing your chances, is understand the admissions officers right now are inundated with everything. They have deadlines looming where they have to get the acceptances, where they have to get the rejected students, deferred students, and everything else off the table more than likely in the next week or two. This is probably why a lot of you are looking for the admissions rep's email or trying to find who that person is right now, can't find anything on the school's website. It's because most of the school websites have taken down the admissions people's contacts because they're inundated. They don't have time to talk to guys all day long. It's just their way of letting the admissions officers do their job. Evaluating students, looking at essays, looking at recommendations, looking at test scores, so on and so forth, to figure out are these students viable candidates we should be having coming to our university. So if you're considering emailing them, it's okay to a point. 1 or 2 emails is more than enough. If you don't get an answer back, that means they're inundated. Do not send them another email saying, I'm not sure if you got my other 2 emails. By the way, here are my questions. Just let it go. If you can't reach that person, make a phone call, talk to the secretary there at the college, ask them their questions directly. If you're sending the emails to try to enhance your application, by continually sending more emails, what you're doing is you're annoying the admissions officer. And I'll explain to you. Imagine if you get an email at your job saying that you need to do something, and you don't read that email. Half an hour later, you get another email letting you know, by the way, I sent you an email about something to do, and you didn't have time to read that email. Then they send you another email half an hour later indicating, by the way, I sent you 2 emails. And what you do is, you get the last email. You read that email, you waste 5 minutes of your day realizing, okay, you have another email. You read the next email, realizing you just wasted another 5 minutes of your day because that email tells you to go to another email. Then you finally get to the 3rd email and you realize, why am I spending 20 minutes of my day reading about this stuff when this individual could just ask the secretary or the administrative staff these questions? So once again, you do not want to be annoying the admissions officers right now. It does not help your cause. In addition to that, if you've heard that the student next door got accepted or the student 2 blocks away got accepted to the college and you're wondering, how come we haven't heard back? Do not call up the admissions officer. Do not email them and ask them, why did so-and-so get accepted so far and we did not? That is not helping your cause once again. Comparing yourself to another student, regardless of how more superior you think or may be in the grades, test scores, resume, etc., it does not matter why a student got accepted. What matters is you're going to accept it. So let's focus on what we need to be focusing on here, not other students. Comparing yourself in the world of admissions or the world of financial aid to another student when you're talking to them does not help your cause at all. It actually, once again, annoys the individual because they know legally they cannot talk about the other student to begin with. Do not bring other students into the mix when you're dealing with admissions or financial aid. Remember, these people are inundated. So what you want to do is, if you're not adding value, leave them alone. But the 4th thing that you have to consider is, if you have a connection at that college, if you have somebody who's basically vouching for you, you have to make sure in the back of your mind that you know you're going to that college if you get accepted. What you cannot do is use them to get another acceptance for either leverage for another school or because you want to have a couple more acceptances in the mix to kind of think about. If somebody is sending in a recommendation letter for you at a college, especially a top tier school, a more difficult school, or if they're making that phone call, whether they're a board member, whether they work for the university, whether they're someone of distinction in the world of the university, you have to know if you make that call, you yourself ask that person for that favor to make that call, to send that email, so on and so forth, that's where you want to go. Do not use these favors for these individuals to get into a college they have no thought of going to, or as just another choice to have in the mix of schools you might want to attend. You only use the option of somebody making that phone call that knows somebody at the school or works for the school if you know you're going to that college. So these are basically the 4 things to kind of consider right now to kind of like get you guys off the ledge, let's call it, to give you some more insight about what's happening right now. And before you guys go out there and do something that maybe is probably not going to help your cause. I understand every family, every student wants to go off to the best college. I understand that as a parent myself. But what you need to realize is right now in the time frame we find ourselves in with the competition level of colleges nowadays, just through the roof unfortunately, mostly because of SAT, ACT optional, so much more applications are going into the colleges, you have to make sure anything you're doing is actually adding value. So that being said, let's talk about adding value. If you want to do something right now to help your cause, let's talk adding value right now. Now, what you can do if you want to, if you're kind of feeling anxious and you want to do something to kind of help your cause, right here are 5 things I would consider doing right now to add value to your application rather than sending them a pie or inundating the admissions office with stuff that doesn't make any sense. First thing I'd be considering doing is sending out my first quarter grades, which obviously I talked about in a previous video, because sending out your first quarter grades is the one last shot you can give them from an academic point of view, showing them you're taking the hardest courses because obviously it's a senior year and this is how well I'm doing. One last shot in the arm to kind of help your cause. A second thing you can do is send a thank you note to the admissions officer for hosting an event or taking the time to talk to you. And when I say sending a note, I mean sending a note. That is one note. Not sending them an email and then the next day sending them another email and the next day another email. Just send one email or one note thanking them for taking the time and that you appreciate all their help, and that's it. 3 to 5 sentences thanking them. And then the third thing you can do to kind of help your cause at this point in time, with the clock kind of running down before you hear the decisions, is ask your guidance counselor for some assistance. Do they know anyone at the college? Do they know the admissions rep from the university? Can they send them an email? Can they just give them a phone call? Hey, just want to before you guys make your decision, the student I have here who applied to your college, loves the school, just wanted to make a quick little phone call. I know I've talked to you guys for the last 4 or 5 years. Just want to let you know this is the kind of student you guys need there. They really would add value to your college. That is fine. But once again, one phone call, one email. Once again, also your guidance counselor is also inundated, so you can't have them calling every 2 or 3 days asking, how's my application look? What are you guys thinking? So on and so forth. It's not helping anyone's cause. And the fourth thing you can do is if you guys have gotten any new achievements, any new honors, any new awards, send those in for the admissions office to evaluate. But by the way, you don't have to send it in to the admissions rep. You can send it in to the admissions assistant and they can put it in your file for them to consider. Anything to do with leadership recognition, anything to do with volunteer work recognition, community service, anything achievement-wise you've done, those are fine to send in for one last shot to help your application out. And then the fifth thing you can look to do, or I guess add value to your application, if you took the SAT or ACTs and you're getting the scores back now and you did better, then those would be something that would look to send in if it adds value. Now obviously the score has to go up enough where it makes sense for it to add value. So if you went from 1100 to 1110, that's not adding value. If you went from 1100 to let's say 1150 or 1200, like a 50-point increment is a good kind of like basis to kind of utilize, then yes, those increases will help you out in the world of admissions. It may even help you, to be honest with you, to get more scholarship funding. So it's something to consider. So those are the 5 things I would consider doing here to add value to your application if you're looking to do something now. Baking the cake, trying to establish a relationship, inundating the admissions officer with phone calls, emails, or trying to set up every Zoom meeting they have available for info sessions and putting your name on there is not helping your cause. Once again, if it seems like you're overdoing it, it's not a good thing to be doing. If you're overwhelmed, take a step away, take a break, go grab a coffee, go grab a Coke, sit down, watch TV, do something else. But do not ruin your chances right here at the end by doing something that's going to be over the top. These things never work. Relax, get ready to enjoy the holidays, and let's see what the application pool brings in. And other than that, if you guys have any questions, any comments, once again, leave them down below in the comment section. I answer all the questions you guys leave, by the way, down below in the comment section. As well as, if you do enjoy today's video, please leave us a like. It does help the channel. And of course, once again, we are running the James Russo Memorial Scholarship. If you want to be eligible for that, in the description down below is the link to watch the video to explain to you guys how to apply for the scholarship. As well as, if you're looking to help out the channel, help us, support us in making these videos, once again, in the description as well is our organization's Venmo, as well as our Buy Us a Coffee link to help out supporting the channel. In addition to all of that, on the screen now is our contact information if you have any questions. If you need any help with the admissions or financial aid process throughout this college path you guys find yourselves on, just shoot me a text. That's actually my cell phone number on the screen. I do help a lot of families out with the admissions and financial aid paperwork, as well as our organization's email if you want to send me an email. And other than that, thank you once again for watching today's video. Once again, my name is Ed from Principia Prep.